Hi, everybody. It's Tamara from Moogly, and I am fingers crossed live with you here today. What day is it? April 24th, 2024. Ooh, that feels like it might be a palindrome. Is that a palindrome? I feel like this is one of those special palindrome days for the year where the date's the same forwards and backwards. 4242424. As long as you're American and use the month, the date, year format, it works. How cool. So, welcome to our live. Like I say, we are live, I hope. So, I'm just taking a moment here to hit the little buttons in front of me and try and get our video up so that I can watch along with you. Make sure we are live and, of course, answer any of your questions and comments as we go. All right. We're up and running. Hi, Kathy and Becky and everybody who's watching. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you're watching, please don't forget to hit that heart button or the like button wherever you are to let the system know that people are watching and that we really are live so everybody will get that notification. So thank you very much. So diving into it officially, now that we're up and running and everybody's here, my name is Tamara Kelly. I'm here from mooglyblog.com and I'm just updating you. Crochet and Catch Up on Moogly is what's been happening for the past couple of weeks and a couple sneak peeks for what we can be doing here in the future. So let's jump into it. First question I usually get asked, so I always put it at the top of my lives. This is the Olive You cardigan, which is a pattern you'll find on the Moogly Ravelry shop. It is made, I believe, in worsted weight yarn. I made this one a little while ago, but it is a really fun and simple pattern. So that said, let's dive into all the links. I do want to mention that everything I'm talking about today is linked out on today's blog post on Moogly. So wherever you're watching this, go to the description. There should be a link. If there's not, go to mooglyblog.com and look for Crochet and Chat with today's date, and you'll find all the links for everything I'm talking about here today. So let's dive into it. What's been going on? Good morning, you guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. All right, so first things first. Big sneak peek, not really a sneak peek. I've been talking about it forever, but I'm going to keep talking about it till it happens. I am going on a craft tours trip to England this fall in October. It's going to be beautiful. The reason we're going in October is, of course, fingers crossed for good weather, but mostly the London Knitting and Stitching Show is happening while we're there. So we're going to get to go to that for a couple days, in addition to seeing all the amazing sites. We're going to go to Stonehenge, and I told them, yes, we have to stop, not just drive by. We're going to see the castle. One of the options is we can go see the castle where Downton Abbey was filmed. I apologize, I don't know the name of the castle off the top of my head, but so many cool sites, so many things. We're going to go down to Bath. If you're anybody, like I have a sister who's really into like Jane Austen and all those books, and I'm recognizing so many of the names and from my reading of those books. So if you're somebody who's into those, we're going to be hitting some of those sites like Bath and things. It's just going to be such a fantastic trip. I've never been to England before, so I'm going to be experiencing it right along with you, exploring all the sites right beside you, and teaching at least 2 crochet workshops while we're on the trip. And of course, I'll be right there with you, answering your questions and chatting with you about crochet and life and England and everything else. I'm super excited, and I really want as many of you as possible to join me. So please do check out the links for that if you haven't yet. Lots of great information is up right now on the Craft Tour site, far more than I can go into here, far more than I can even remember. But I'm really excited, and I want as many of you to come with me as possible. So that's happening. Now, let's get back to what's already happened. We have, of course, our latest Crochet Along block for Moogly Crochet Along 2024, block number 8 by Polly Plum. So let's hold that up. Here it is. Isn't that beautiful? Now, this is the front. I used my 3 colors. She used, I believe, also 3 colors. She did her color layout a little differently. I was just kind of going by the pictures and guessing where those different color changes were going to be. And I did them a little differently than she did. That's the back. You can see it actually looks really pretty from the back too. But this is the front. And if you look, if I hold it this way, you can see like right here, there's some really great texture in here. It's a little harder to see in camera. It's a little easier to see in person. But lots of really great texture in this square. Lots of different color options. I have loved seeing all the different color layouts that people on the group have done for this one. I know I always say that, but for this one, it really makes such a wild difference where people do those color changes. And one of the things I love about Polly's patterns is, and this is a great example, she writes it so that you can start every round with a new color, or continuing with the color you were using before. She includes both sets of instructions for every round. So it makes it for a lot of pages if you end up printing it out, but it is absolutely worth it. They're gorgeous squares, wonderful instructions, and definitely check out the Moogly Crochet Along Facebook group if you haven't yet for lots and lots of color inspiration for this really beautiful square. One more time, that's what the back looks like. So still very attractive, but that really is the star of the show. And then I think I will have one more. Yes, one more with my daffodil colorway before I switch colors again. So I'm really having fun working through the rainbow this year. Usually I use the same colors all year round, and this year is my Stash Buster year. So it's really, really exciting for me actually to get to each new color. It's kind of keeping me motivated as I go as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying those patterns up so far. So hi everybody. Oh, hi Kathy and Jacqueline. And oh, thank you. I agree. That square is so pretty. Okay, so what else? The newest pattern on Moogly, the rainbow lattice wrap. Now, I've got it right here. I'm going to try and hold it up here without running into the microphone. So bear with me here. Let me get it turned around so it's facing you. There we are. And there it is. This is the rainbow lattice wrap. It is the newest free crochet pattern on mooglyblog.com. As you can see, it's pretty long, but also notice how much movement there is in this fabric. Do you see all this beautiful mesh? I'm peeking at you through it here. You see all this beautiful mesh that's created? This is created by, of course, the stitching, but also gravity. So one thing I want to point out, if you've gotten started on this, I've gotten a couple of notes from people who've made the first row, and they're saying, oh my gosh, this is like 9 feet long or whatever it is. It's really incredibly long. But look at all this movement. If you can see how this fabric works, you see that very first bottom purple row? Look how much that moves up and down, up and down. Once you start adding the other rows to this fabric shrinks up significantly. In fact, I think this was, I want to say the fourth one I started because I kept starting them and they would shrink up so much. Every time I kept adding more rows, I had to add so many rows to see how much it was going to shrink up. It just kept getting shorter and shorter. So I finally got all the numbers. I realized after you block it out, each repeat is about 3 inches. That's all included in the pattern. But it is a really fun and dynamic pattern, and it's perfect for showing off the new colors of Bernat lattice. Did I do the naming thing on purpose? Believe it or not, I did not. I had been using this yarn and staring at it the whole project. It came time to name it, and I was like, oh, it's a lattice work design. Made with Bernat lattice. Totally coincidental, but clearly it was lodged in my brain. But I thought it was such a great pattern to make with this yarn. I think I showed you guys this yarn last time. Let's see if I can get it to show up close up there. It's really, really, really incredibly soft. As you can see in this orangey colorway, I think this one's called Rust Mix. That's from memory, so don't hold me to it. But you can see, look at that color variation. There's a little bit of color variation in there, a little bit of texture, but it's all really, really soft. It's really gorgeous stuff. It's got an interesting mix of fibers. It's 54% polyester, 28% acrylic, and 18% nylon. All of those mean that this is going to wear really well. In fact, having some nylon content in there is actually a really good sign. Nylon is what a lot of people look for in sock yarns to help them wear really well, because if you think about it, socks get probably more wear and tear on them than anything else we could possibly crochet or knit. So yeah, I feel like this is going to hold up beautifully over time. It's brand new, so I've only experienced it for a couple months here, but it is really, really soft. I'm not seeing any pilling from it. It frogs beautifully. It's just a really, really fun yarn. So if you get a chance to grab some of this and give it a whirl, I definitely recommend it. I used 6 colors to make the wrap, but of course you can use just one, dozens. It's actually, this pattern makes a fantastic stash buster, because each row is made and then you cut the yarn. You'd still turn it, but we cut the yarn after every row. So if you've got just little bits, as long as they're all the same weight and basically the same fiber content, like you don't want to mix wools with acrylics, but as long as you use all acrylics or all wools or something like that, you could do a really fun stash buster project with this stitch pattern. Now, of course, you know me, I've included the stitch multiples and the row multiples. If you want to completely change the size, turn it into a lacy blanket or throw, you could absolutely still do it with the written pattern. So the pattern is up free now on mooglyblog.com. And of course, there is a paid version available on Ravelry if you'd prefer to avoid all the ads and stuff. But it's really, like I say, it's really incredibly soft. My favorite thing, besides, of course, the yarn and the pattern itself, is the ends. Remember I said we cut the yarn after every row, but you guys know I hate weaving in ends. This is the solution. We cut the yarn after every row. We just knot up each little section. It becomes really obvious what each section is when you're stitching. And then you just trim those ends off so they're all the same length. Boom. Very easy. Just takes a little bit of forethought and planning, but you can have that integrated sort of fringe tassel look without a single end to weave in for the entire project. You know how happy that makes me. So, like I say, this one is up free right now. Thank you so much to everybody who's added it to their Ravelry queue and favorites. Always a tongue twister, but I really appreciate it. We always really appreciate your support there, as well as on the blog and here, wherever you're watching me today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So that is our latest pattern. And the video tutorial for that, I know a lot of people are waiting for the video tutorial on that one. It does have a very unique first row. Not only is it very long, but it is very unique. And I've used sort of my special extending a row with foundation stitches technique. So the video tutorial for that should be out this week. Barring technical difficulties, we suddenly lose power for the week or something. As long as nothing unusual happens, that video tutorial should be out later this week. Tomorrow, maybe Friday, but fingers crossed it should be out tomorrow. So watch for that. It will be out very soon. We just had to get that made and want to get that really edited and everything up for you guys. So like I say, fingers crossed that should be up tomorrow. So thank you for your patience on that. Oh, good. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys like that. And thank you so much, Marianne. I'm glad you're able to catch me live. So, all right. Then, of course, we do have a video tutorial up for the previous pattern, which you may have seen me show last time, the Fox Squish, which is the latest squish pattern on mooglyblog.com. This is, the latest in a series of squishes. If you haven't seen the squishes before, there is, I'd have to turn around and count. I'm pretty sure we're up to a dozen, if not over a dozen different little animals and shapes. The fox is our newest guy. They're all sort of this big 10-inch round amigurumi made with Bernat blanket. So, for those of us who maybe need reading glasses for some of that tiny yarn these days, nice big stitches, nice big yarn, big stuffed animal made in really a relatively short period of time. If you're not trying to design it and pull it out and figure it all out, you could probably make one of these in, I'd say 3, maybe 4 evenings or a long weekend. Excuse me. I'm, of course, pulling the stitches out and redoing them, so it takes me a little bit longer. You can see the body that the ball, the mushy balls that I use to stuff these really give it. That link is included on the blog post. I cannot include links inside PDFs for sales items. It's kind of just against the rules. Legally, long story short, I can't include links there. But if you ever want a link to that, just go to the blog post for it, which I have linked on the PDF. I can link back to my own blog. Anyway, there's a link there. Follow that link. And I have linked out to those balls on Amazon if you want to use those, as well as the safety eyes and the safety noses that I like to use. I'm always purchasing new ones, and I always share the ones that I've gotten with you guys so you can get the exact same ones if you want to. Of course, this guy, run into everything here. He's so big. This one does have a tail, so in addition to the ball, this one does have some stuffing in it. And now it has a video tutorial as well. Both right and left-handed video tutorials for the Fox Squish are now up on the Moogly Blog YouTube channel. So do look for those if you want some help making this guy. Otherwise, if you've made the other squishes before, you probably don't need the video. They're pretty basic shapes. I did have some fun with surface crochet this time. I think it really added a nice touch to the ears, but it's optional as well. Of course, I always want you guys to customize your stuff for yourself. So again, Fox Squish, free right now on mooglyblog.com and linked at the link in the description. All right. Set that guy aside right there. I'm running out of room, actually, to keep all these beautiful squishes in my house, and I've been trying to think maybe they might be moving to the guest room. We'll see how that goes. I might have to put up some special shelving. But they're so much fun to make, and there's so many more animals you guys want to see. I will, of course, keep making them. So, thank you guys so much. I'm so glad you guys like the fox and everything. Okay, so what else? Those are the patterns that have been happening right now. That's kind of where we're at in progress with those. Of course, I've got another one in the works right now. I'm also working on a huge project, too big to even bring down here right now, for the Crochet Guild of America booth at H&H Americas. Now, you probably haven't heard of H&H Americas before. It is a professional conference for, I want to say, all sorts of crafts, really. Um, I, Yarn, of course, is there, but like pens and paper, all kinds of crafty things, basically. This is, I want to say, there's third years, maybe going, second or third year. It's an offshoot of H&H Cologne. Anyway, long story short, it's a professional conference, so it's not open to the public, but it is open to those who work in the industry. So if you live in the Chicago area and you're a blogger or a crafter or a tech editor or something like that, you can definitely look it up and see if you're going to be able to attend. But anyway, long story short, there's going to be a CGOA, Crochet Guild of America booth there. I'm trying to get some other professionals and companies to help support the CGOA, and I get to make the banner. And yes, it is down to the wire. It took me a little longer to get a hold of the yarn than I thought it would, but it's almost finished. I will definitely be taking and sharing pictures of those when I am at H&H Americas next week. So you can look forward to that. I'm using Bernat Blanket Extra. So that's not the biggest one, but the bigger than the standard Bernat blanket one. So I'm looking forward to showing that off here very soon. Very, very soon. It's so close to being done. All right, so that is in the works. Then, of course, we've got the other things that have happened on the blog. There was a Dora Does designer showcase. If you haven't checked out Dora Does UK is the blog. She does such fantastic garments. They're all just really elegant and wearable, fantastic crocheter. So definitely do check her out. Then we've got our giveaways going, of course. We've got the newest one that just started yesterday. This one's for the knitters and the aspiring knitters. I would say this is a great book. Now, if you're just learning how to knit, you probably won't pull this one out. But as soon as you've got the basics, I would say this is a great one. As long as you wear sweaters between the sizes of, I believe, extra small and 2XL. That was my only criticism of this book, is that that's where the pattern sizing stopped. Now, this was, little paperwork there. This one was originally published in Germany, so I feel like the standards there might also be just a little different. Over here in the US, we tend to like to go to 5X these days, but in a book, that doesn't always happen. And of course, the higher you go in sizing, the more specific, trying to find some of the pictures here, the more specific you need to get with the numbers. Sometimes you have to get kind of redesigned for the other sizes. But anyway, here we are. Really gorgeous designs. This book, I would say, is full of really great basics, which is something I kind of aim for on Moogly as well with crochet. Really, really just great wearable designs. Like, these are the things that, these aren't that specialty weird thing you're going to make that's going to be, trendy right now, but out of style next year. These are pieces that I really feel you could wear for a lifetime. And just, if that color goes out of style, you remake it in a different color. But these are going to be sort of those knitwear basics, right? The things that are always going to be classics in your wardrobe, things you'll return to year after year, maybe making a different size as you grow or shrink. This is probably my favorite. That's why I'm lingering there. I love anything with the hood. So comfy. And just some really, really fun ones. Long sweaters, short sweaters, pullovers, cardigans. Like I say, really, really fun designs, some great basics. And what's fun about this, the way this one is set up, is it does have a really big section up front for learning, but then as you go through, the sweaters increase in difficulty. So that's why I say it would be great for somebody who's just starting to get into sweater design, or sweater knitting, I should say, because it's going to have a lot of the introductory info for you. And then you can start at the beginning and get those really basic patterns and sort of work your way up. So, like I say, this one's published by Stackpole Books. It's by, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Frauke Ludwig. I'm studying German, but we haven't learned the names, how to pronounce names yet. So that is just a guess. I apologize if I mispronounced it. But it is a really great book. It's really nice and chunky. As you can see, this isn't a thin thing. There is some weight to this book. It is a hefty tome. But yeah, the patterns themselves start, let's see, that far into the book. So you can see this is all sort of learning, and then this is all the patterns. But they're written out really well. There's some great information in terms of sizing for the sizing that is there. We'll see if we can get that to focus so that you can see extra small through 2XL. They're including the chest circumference, the sleeve length, and the garment length from armhole. So you can take those measurements on yourself and really help you find the things that are going to work for you. And then for the more advanced knitters, there's a section up front that really goes over how to mix and match some of those things to get custom sweaters with all the features you love. So this one we're giving away right now on mooglyblog.com. It just started. And then we have the other book. We're getting a little closer to the finish with this one, but we're also giving away a copy of Crochet Baby Sets by Christy Simpson. So this one, again, this is another great basics book. I really like this one. I always leave most papers in there. 30 patterns, again, by Stackpole, but these are arranged into sets, as you can see. But I think a lot of these mix and match with each other really well as well. So you would just have to find sort of matching yarn. But it's 30 different baby patterns. And where's the other page of those? There it is. But they all, like I say, they all mix and match really well, and they cover the basics. You know, you've got sweaters, you've got onesies, you've got hats, you've got blankets, you've got booties, you've got, I think, a teether, maybe, a bib, I know. Maybe that teether's just a decoration. But, yeah, there's just lots of really fun, simple, a headband, leg warmers, mitts. All sort of the basics of a baby layette are included here. So each set has 3 coordinated items, but you can definitely mix and match between them. So another really great basic book. This one's a little thinner. This one doesn't have the same, instructional extent. It's got a little bit at the end, sort of your standard how-to guide. Probably not the best way to learn how to crochet, but always handy for a little bit of reference. So for this one, if we split it up, get that facing, this would be the patterns, and this little section right here would be the instructional section. So there is a closer look at that book as well. So both of those have giveaways going on right now on Moogly. Let's see. I'm just checking our notes here. Thank you guys so much. I love when you guys leave comments. Thank you. Hello. Cece's Cozy Corner. Did I make my sweater? Yes. Oh, you're wearing your pink crochet sweater. I love that. I love when everybody wears their things. Yes, thank you. I did make this one. This is the Olive You cardigan, which is a pattern available in my Ravelry shop. Ravelry. I'm having trouble with my R's today. Maybe it's all that studying German. I want to roll them instead. All right. What else? Coming back to my list here, I do work off the list of links that are included in today's post. So you can be sure that everything I'm talking about today is linked there. We've got one more giveaway going on right now, of course. And this is my partially used skein of the yarn, but the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one Granny Square yarn. Long name, I think officially it's Red Heart all-in-one Granny Square. Full name of it. I've just been calling it the Granny Square yarn. Looks like just kind of a self-striping, but it makes, let me get the label up here, these Granny Squares. 5 rounds, 5 inches. The only ends are the beginning end and the end of each square. So I love this. This encouraged me to make my first Granny Square project, my first Granny Square design, I should say. I've made them in the past, but my first Granny Square design, finally, this is the yarn that got me to do it. I did not want to weave in all those ends. So this was just a really fun yarn. There's a couple of brand new colorways, so we're doing a brand new giveaway for it this month. But this one is ending very soon. So get your entries in. That one has been hard to get a hold of in stores too. It's been very popular. So keep your eyes out and do grab that one if you get a chance. Then, of course, what else do we usually talk about? Now, we usually talk about the Michaels classes that I've got coming up, and I've been told that I'll have a couple more in May, probably the last couple weeks, so we don't have any dates for those yet. I'm hoping to get those dates for you guys really soon. When I do teach Michaels classes, they're always free on, they're via Zoom, but you have to sign up on michaels.com. So if you want to keep an eye out for those, as well as all the other great classes on michaels.com. I know Marley Bird's going to be teaching some coming up here as well. You can just go to michaels.com, and if you're on your desktop or laptop, there's usually some be on your right. So this side for you. I don't know. I'm all turned around. It's on the right, top right. It'll say classes. And if you click on that, then there's a page with in-person classes and online classes. You click on online classes, and that will take you to the great big list of all the classes they have available. And there's everything crochet, knitting, jewelry making, paper piecing, painting, and probably crafts that I don't even know about. So definitely check that out. Like I say, my next set of classes should be going up here very soon. Unfortunately, I just don't have the exact dates yet, but probably the last 2 Tuesdays in May. Do I know what I'm teaching? No, but we'll find out together. All right. So that'll be coming up. And of course, I've talked about England, which is the next big thing coming up. But now I want to give you your little sneak peek. And you've seen this one before, but Bernat Maker. It has new colors, new name. It used to be Bernat Maker Home Deck. It's now just Bernat Maker. And I am going to be using this yarn, not necessarily this color, although I do love this color. I'm going to be using this yarn for my next design, and it might just feature in our next yarn giveaway when the Granny Square one is all over. So I really love using this yarn, whatever they want to call it. I've loved it under every name, and with every color selection. It has fantastic stitch definition. In fact, a lot of times when I've pulled up yarn just on lives and things to do a little impromptu demo, I will pull up the Bernat Maker because you can see every line of every stitch. I used it previously on Moogly, to make the Star Maker blanket, which you can see right here. And I think this shows off really well just how beautifully that stitch definition shows up with this yarn. I mean, this is just a pale pink and a white here. I think officially they call it a peach, but to me it has always looked more pink. But you can see how you can see every strand. This is not a good yarn to hide your mistakes with, but it is a good yarn to show off beautiful stitches with. I've admired the star stitch for years, but it wasn't until Bernat Maker came back then I said, okay, let's do it, because I know that yarn is really going to show it off. If I had done this stitch in something really fuzzy, we wouldn't get this stitch definition. It would just be kind of some fuzzy stripes right here. So this is a really fun and unique yarn. I really enjoy using it. It is a 5, so it is officially a bulky weight yarn. It recommends an 8mm crochet hook, and I think that's what I usually end up using it for too. It's 72% cotton and 28% nylon, and we've already talked a little bit about how nylon makes things a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little tougher, they have a little bit more wear to it, a little bit more resilience, and this yarn, in my experience, definitely is the case. I have I believe it's called the Sunshine Chair Pad, something like that. I have over 650 patterns at this point. I've forgotten the names. But I did make a chair pad using this yarn. It is a free pattern on mooglyblog.com. And when I made that chair pad, I ended up making 2. And I made one and I put it up in my bedroom. I actually have it on the chair that I have in my bedroom because that chair has some weird seating to it. Long story short, it needed a pad, so I put the chair pad on there. I've been sitting on that chair pad for, it's got to be going on close to 2 years now, pretty much every day, several times a day, and it is showing no wear at all. Might be a little squished, maybe a little squished, but it is, but the yarn itself, there's no pilling, there's no wear, there's no color transfer, there's no color fading. And like I say, this has been in daily use for me for quite some time. So I am genuinely a big believer in the longevity of this yarn. So Bernat Maker, it's back. Grab some while you can. Grab it while it's out in stores. Get it online if you need to. It is great stuff. Oh, Cheryl, you've got a couple skeins you can't wait to try. It really is. I feel like, I'm going on and on about it, but I'm just so impressed with this yarn. It really does last. It doesn't pill. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody use it for garments. I don't know if it would work well for garments, but for anything around the house, baskets, like I say, chair pads, blankets, anything like that, absolutely love it. So do give it a try. And I'm excited to see if somebody does make a garment out of it. I would really like to see that. I don't know if I'm going to be the one, but I would like to see it. I think there's probably a way to make it amazing. So hi, Elaine. Hi, everybody. Oh, Christina, thank you guys so much. I'm so glad you guys like it. Yes, Bernat has a ton of fun yarns. And, Bernat, Karen, which is great. Lily Sugar and Cream. What a classic, right? Where would we all be without Lily Sugar and Cream? Let me see what else. There's the thread, Aunt Lydia's thread, and Peyton's. So if you're looking for your Peyton's Classic Wool Roving, all those really fancy, beautiful yarns. Peyton's Inspired is another gorgeous one out right now. What else? I know I'm forgetting one. Oh, and of course, Red Heart, all the Red Heart yarns. Those are all available under the Yarnspirations umbrella right now, yarnspirations.com. So, when we go into our local yarn shops or our big box yarn shops that are local to us, some of us, that's the best we've got locally. There is limited shelf space. So sometimes, some gorgeous yarns aren't going to make it onto the shelf. Luckily, they're available online. There's just, wouldn't it be amazing if like Michael's was all yarn? I feel like it could absolutely be filled with all the different kinds of yarn out there. That would be phenomenal. But in the meantime, we've got what, 2, 3 aisles if we're lucky, if you're very lucky. So don't be afraid to try out some of the yarns that you might not get a chance to see in person. And if you do see them in person, snatch them up while you can. All right. That's my little speech on that. Yes. Oh, wonderful. So many fun things. All right. So that is unfortunately all I have to talk about today. I've been having so much fun with you guys. Been loving reading your comments. Thank you so much. This has been a blast as always. And of course, I will be back in a couple weeks here to do it again. But in the meantime, I'm going to be going back to Chicago for H&H Americas. So I'm going to try and jump on social media and definitely show that great big banner in that booth once it's all put together, as well as some other fun things from that event. And of course, I've got more great posts coming next week as well, including, I believe, let's see, today's Wednesday. So I believe the next Crochet Along Square will come out while I'm gone. I actually just finished that one up. Can't show you anything about it yet because it's not my pattern to show, but it is very exciting, very fun. Another designer we've had before back again, and I'm really excited to see what you guys do with this one. So you'll have to put on your thinking caps for this next one, but it's going to be amazing. So in the meantime, everybody have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful May. It'll be May before I come back here again to talk to you live, but have a wonderful rest of your month. And spring is coming. I can feel it. All right, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.